Every Armenian, Japanese person is not always a Democrat.
I'm curious. Most African American conservatives who I've met make a point to call themselves black, not African American. I've noticed you used African American. Does it make a difference to you?
Well, it depends on the era you were born. I mean, certain birth certificates, people are called Negro, color, African American, black.
All right.
My mother's birth certificate says Negro. I think mine says colored. So it just depends on what era. Power to the people. The 60s, it was black. So 2000, fast forward, now we're the people of color. So 2011. So it just depends on what era you're born in.
Do you know Anita Moncrief?
I'm familiar with her a little bit.
We've become good friends. She's probably about 30 years old. She was the Acorn whistleblower.
Okay.
And she was out here, and I took her to a Ronald Reagan fundraising dinner for a monument. She stood up and said, "I am black. I'm not African American, and I'm proud to be conservative."
Well, I'm an African American. I'm not going to go on that banner of black or African American. It's like saying, "Are you Italian or are you white?" Well, what the hell? You're a Negro. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're not going to have me deny being African American. I'm not going to deny being African. I'm not going to deny being black. You have certain people like others say, "I'm an American." I mean, what the hell? You are what you are. We're
Right.
still all Americans. Let's cut to the case. Let's cut to the chase. You're taking my money, Mr. Obama. You're overspending, Mr. Brown. We're giving everything away. And then in California, I mean, the Republicans don't even want a decent mayor. I mean, my God, Villagosa, I call it the mafia, Villadica. I mean, he's got his wife and his ex-wife. He's got part of his name and another woman's name.
Yeah.
And we have all these weaknesses in these candidates, but yet the CRP and the California Republicans aren't going after those districts because they are scared, Rick. They don't understand that if we don't start penetrating those districts, we don't even have a chance to win any of the state to ever win for president for a Republican candidate
Do you think this new law
in our lifetime?
this new runoff, instead of having primaries of one candidate from each party, the top two vote getters go, that's going to hurt the Republicans, don't you think?
You know what? Time will tell. It really will tell. And the key thing that we need to do is, like, we looked at the tree. We know the tree and the branch and the fruit is all Republican. I mean, all Obama. But if we as Republicans in the state of California, when we look at our tree, and we know the brown and all the fruit right there, they're fighting, and they can't come up with a budget, but they can come up with certain amendments like you're talking about, getting more control. They're playing a control game. That's all that's about. We need to go to the roots. We need to get certain roots out of the office, like Nancy Pelosi, like Karen Bass, like all these people, especially Villagosa. We need to get him out of office. I'm sorry. We can continue to forget about, we don't feel that the mayor of Los Angeles makes a point, but he does. He influences the people. And by having power of the people, if you don't have the money, you have the people, you have the votes.
Right.
The votes and the numbers of the people. And if you speak logic, a lot of blacks are conservatives because of the black community of the church. The church believes in what the Republican values are, but we as Republicans fail to emphasize that in the community. Look, block parties. We're talking about barbershops. These are things that African Americans throughout the country can do to make changes. But if we're not making no changes and we're so focused on Obama's going to do what he wants to do. And I can tell you in the state of California, we're not going to go there.
Shirley, you have been heavily involved in state politics. And what I'm curious about, to get your opinion on, is I've been told by a few people that are heavyweight political consultants at the national level and at the state level, and they tell me privately, off public record, that the Republican Party at the state level in the state of California is morally defeated. I don't mean their morals. I mean they're just I'm trying to find the right word. They don't believe they can ever retake the majority. They give. They give lip service, talk about it, but deep in their...
Well, Rick, let's talk real here. We all know some of these consultants are crooks. A lot of them take candidates' money like they did with Meg Whitman. It leads you down a dark hole, and then later you're spending $170 million. Now, because we don't have an urban consultant firm that really will consider looking at the urban community and making change, you're not going to penetrate areas that really can make the shift.
I see.
Okay? Yeah. And then when you talk about, the mental games, the mind games, well, they're playing those mind games because I believe that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And if you continue to speak of those negative notions that we are defeated from the jump, I don't need you on my ship. I don't need you on my team. So if I would say to any candidate that's running for the state of California nationally, if you have a consulting firm that you already know just from interviewing them and hearing people like Rick saying, look, they've already said the card, we ain't got a hell of a high water to win. I don't want to hire you. I'd rather take that guy who'll take the risk and say, you know what, something like Bill Gates said, he's not scared about the guy working for his company. He's talking about the guy, he's scared of the guy in the garage creating the next idea. We need that kid in the garage with the next idea, that young Republican, like the LA County Young Republicans. Shout out to Edgar and to Karen and all those guys and Derek. I mean, the LA County Young Republican and Al Ramirez has been working very close with them. These are the young people that we need to shift our energy to. When we hire consultants firms that want to get a check, they're going to say whatever that candidate wants.
Right.
Instead of giving them what is the true fact,
you're
which
right.
is all about life and death in the tongue and all the mind games that can be played upon it.
So there are no urban consultants.
I know that there are a couple, but they're not making the change in the ways that it should be done. And there's a couple of teams that have talked about doing something different. I don't see it happening. I don't see people thinking, hey, let's go to the barbershops, or let's go to some of the community block parties. I mean, let's go within the churches. I mean, I know there's a lot of talk right now with Schwarzenegger and his divorce, but I will tell you this. When I worked on Arnold's campaign, he went into the black churches. He made those connections. The CRP should have rolled on that.
Yeah.
They should have said, you know what numbers, can you give me the names and numbers of those churches that you connected with back in 06 and 07? What are those churches? Who are those churches? Who are those leaders? I mean, they were so happy to have Arnold there. Fast forward 2011, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have those connections with the churches. And conservative, fiscal, responsible values are emphasized in the community church. So when you talk about consultants who like to play mind games to get a check, like they did with Meg Women. And, Meg Women, she put $30 million into the Latino community. My understanding is she put $350 in the African American community. I mean, she did not spend any money in the urban community.
So she thought it was gone, lost.
I don't know. I think that she was consulted the wrong way. I won't blame that totally on Meg. I think you just go according to the leaders in front of you. But you always get these nice, fresh young interns who think they know everything. And when it comes to someone like old school like us, who say this is how it really works. In the end, they lost and we were right.
What I just took away from what you just said is Meg Whitman had no ability or no self-confidence to go off of instinct.
I disagree with you on that. I think that she did. She is a smart businesswoman. I think she was consulted wrong in some instances.
But she didn't go off of instinct. She followed the
Yes, I agree with that. I do, because there's times I would watch and I go, I know she's sharper than that, but she doesn't want to make sure she's doing anything wrong. So there was a couple of rabbit holes she went down. It cost her. It cost her the race and it cost her a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh man, a lot of money. Shirley, I just want, if you don't mind, just if I could tell your viewers, if you sign up for my newsletter, AmatoForLiberty.com. It's free. Comes out twice weekly. You sign up, as I say, at AmatoForLiberty.com. The word for. Breaking news, stories, behind-the-scenes interviews.
Absolutely, we're grateful to be on here. I mean, San Diego's got a powerhouse, and I think it's so wonderful. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to keep watching HipHopRepublican.tv. Write those blogs, post them on HipHopRepublican.tv. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Shirley Husar, Husar. And don't forget to follow Rick. Rick, tell me your last name and spell it for him.
Rick Amato, Amato. And nothing wrong. That lemon pasta.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a
so can we do a show in your kitchen at home? I'm not a big lemon chicken fan, but can you do some Alfredo? Can you do a little?
Yeah.
So
this is a feint.
Oh, this is a little faint. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the lime or is it the juice? I mean, is it the juice or the rind?
The juice is cooked into the sauce, and then the rind is zested into it and mixed with it.
Okay, so we're gonna have a show with Rick cooking with just a little lime, because I've tried some of my Cuban family. I don't like that Cuban lemon chicken. Not in. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Rick. Rick, thank you so much for being on our show, and we're on his show. God bless you. Keep in touch, family.
All righty.